In 1945, the founders of the United Nations envisioned that the organization would act to prevent conflicts between nations and make future wars impossible. However, the outbreak of the Cold War made peacekeeping agreements extremely difficult due to the division of the world into hostile camps. Thus, the United Nations peacekeeping began in 1948. It was initially developed during the Cold War as a means of resolving conflicts between states. Peacekeeping was primarily limited to maintaining ceasefires and stabilizing situations on the ground, providing crucial support for political efforts to resolve conflict by peaceful means. UN peacekeeping forces work under the assumption that there's consent of the parties, impartiality, and use of force only as a measure of last resort. The Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to the United Nations peacekeeping operations in 1988. At that time, the Nobel Committee cited the peacekeeping forces through their efforts have made important contributions toward the realization of one of the fundamental tenets of the United Nations. Thus, the World Organization has come to play a more central part in world affairs and has been invested with increasing trust.
Peace is not just a colored ribbon. It's more than a wristband or a t-shirt. It's not just a donation or a 5K race. It's not just a folk song or a white dove. And peace is certainly more than a celebrity endorsement. Peace is a full-time job. It's protecting civilians, overseeing elections, and disarming ex-combatants. The UN has over 100,000 peacekeepers on the ground in places others can't or won't go, doing things others can't or won't do. Peace, like war, must be waged.
We've just got wind of a UN peacekeeping operation in the Congo. So far, it appears that the operation is going as planned. It doesn't appear that a civil war will break out, and the UN is hopeful that Congo will not secede. So far, there have been very few civilian casualties. However, there are reported military casualties, which the UN is estimating at approximately 250 lives. The UN went in hoping to establish a stronger government after the Congo regained their independence. Other goals were to quell possible violence associated with an impending civil war and protect the region. We have a reporter in the Congo ready to talk about the action happening right now. It appears as though they are having technical difficulties, and we have reason to believe that the UN is suppressing free speech and has taken over telecommunications. Now on to the weather. Now that the peacekeeping troops are getting ready to leave the Congo, the civilians are rejoicing that they will have free reign over their land again. They believe that the soldiers took advantage of their power, and reports lead us to believe that the UN had a hidden agenda, perhaps due to their limited experience with peacekeeping.
The cholera outbreak in Haiti has been reported at up to 3,000 cases, and if the trend continues, it will have surpassed the Ebola outbreak by the end of this year. The UN peacekeeping troops, originally stationed in Haiti for earthquake relief, are being blamed for the cholera outbreak. They refuse to look into the source of the outbreak, but are taking moral responsibility and have pledged funds to assist in relief. The funds, however, are not believed to be sufficient for the actions which need to be taken against cholera. The US CDC has conducted research and has pointed the source of the outbreak to Nepali peacekeepers in Haiti with the UN. It was spread by poor sanitary conditions and floods which contaminated drinking water. We have a reporter on the scene and we'll hear from some of the UN delegates.
So what was the original purpose of the UN peacekeeping troops in Haiti? Well, we originally sent troops to Haiti to assist in the earthquake relief in 2010. However, we decided to keep our troops there when the outbreak of cholera evolved into an epidemic.
So what has the UN been doing to help with the outbreak of cholera?
We are working with the Red Cross currently to sanitize houses of infected individuals so that we can prevent further outbreak. And the UN also accepts complete moral responsibility and is committed to raising all the funds necessary to combat cholera.
Well, what role did the UN originally have in the spread of the disease?
We don't believe that the spread of the disease can be attributed to the UN, but rather to the naturally unsanitary conditions found in Haiti. The magnitude of the introduction of the disease, unsanitary conditions, were basically a perfect environment for the spread of the disease.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.